Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Charity. If it's your first time here, welcome. I hope you like it. Please consider subscribing to my channel down below, and let's get into it. Okay, so in today's video we are going to talk about the 3 books that I read in June. Yes, it was a slow reading month for me. It has been a very busy couple of months actually at the office, and I've been struggling to really get the numbers in terms of books that I've completed. However, I am reading every single day, and that is the most important thing for me. And I'm actually also reading really thick books, which is another reason that I'm not really finishing anything. But aside from that, let's talk about what I read in the month of June. So the first book that I finished in June was Invisible Strings, and this is by Naledi Mashishi. Naledi Mashishi is a South African author who's a researcher and based in Johannesburg. This book was published by Blackbird Books, which is a South African publishing house. And basically in this book we follow our main character, who is Keti, and Keti has a young daughter by the name of Tato. So Keti became a mother at a very young age. I think it was in her first year of university, so she had to drop out. So basically her being a mother was a bad experience. So in the book, the author takes us through the journey of her motherhood, and it's not even a beautiful one, because I think in society we have put this pressure on all mothers to be loving and all of that. And yes, it is the bare minimum for you to love your child and to care for your child. Let's get that down. But I feel like we don't talk a lot about how other women go through postpartum depression and they don't feel connected to their children and they don't feel very motherly. And the author actually tackles a lot of that in the book. But I must say though, Keti does get better as a mother throughout the book, so that's fine. So in this book, Tato, I think from the age of 9, was it 9? I'm not sure, but from a young age she starts developing some powers. So the power that manifests itself first is her ability to be able to find any lost item. So it started with like small things. So the first time that Katie noticed it is when she had lost, I think, an earring in a shop, and one day when they were out in at the shops, Tado helped her find it, and then she kept finding these things, and family members started asking her for things that are lost. And then the second power that manifested, she was seeing ghosts. So she started seeing ghosts. And the third one was, well, I don't know if this was an actual, the author didn't actually explore this a lot, but there was one instance where she could kind of like predict what was going to happen to one of her family members, and it actually did come true. So I think that was the time that they actually started taking her powers very seriously. And then the final power that manifested was her ability to be able to heal. So at first she was healing small animals until she met this pastor who actually caught her healing, I think it was a dog, or was it a cat? I don't know. On the side of the road there was a sick, almost dying animal, and she actually healed the animal. And so this pastor gave the mother a proposition. So this pastor basically approached the mothers like, oh no, what your daughter is doing is really good, we can do the Lord's work. And by the way, this pastor is somebody who was struggling to keep the congregation coming back to his church, because they liked the previous pastor who had recently resigned and he wasn't doing so great. So he literally needed this to get traction into his church. And finally they agree. big attraction, and then we see how he uses this child and uses this mother to his own benefit. So he starts basically getting so hungry for it. He starts doing all these ridiculous things, all these nasty things to keep this power. And yeah, but the writing style in the book was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was easy to read. Also, there's some political conversations happening in this book, and at some point I really felt that the author really had it for our current president because if you know, you know. If you read it, you know. And if you're still yet to read it, you will know. But I did really enjoy this book, and I ended up giving it a 4 stars on Goodreads. The next book that I finished in June was An Ordinary Wonder by Papillon. So in this book, we follow Otto, and Otto is a intersex twin. So Otto has a sister, and Otto was raised as a boy, even though throughout all his life he actually felt like he was a girl. And because of the way that he was born, number one, his father shunned him and basically left the family because he did not want to be associated with this creature they kept calling Otto. And the mother treated him like he was a demon, called him a demon a couple of times, and blamed him for the father leaving the family. So this book is really intriguing. It's a coming of age story of Otto trying to find himself, trying to learn a little bit more about himself. There are a couple of trigger warnings in this book, so I think that you should look it up before you read it. But I learned quite a bit about intersexuality in this book, and I am actually looking forward to reading more books like this. But this book was amazing. I really enjoyed the book. Bookie tackles a couple of topics in this book, including, like I said, intersex, which is the main topic in the book. Religion is discussed in this book. Mythologies is looked at in this book. So it was really, really good. I can't say that it was a fun time to read this book, but it was a great book to read, and I gave it a 4.5 stars. And the last book that I read was The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang. This is the second book in the Poppy War, and I can't really tell you what the book is about because then it will be spoiler for the Poppy War, which is the first book. But I gave this book a 5 stars, you guys, because this book, this series is one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. I can't wait to get The Burning God, the physical copy. I am reading it on audio, which is nice, but I love the dual reading experience that I had with both the Poppy War and the Dragon Republic. In this book, we are mainly focusing on Najar's family and the history of his family, because his father is the dragon warlord. So there is a lot that happens in this book, you guys. There's a lot that happens in this book from the get-go. There is action. You are 50 pages in and there's already action, and you're wondering to yourself, am I gonna get anything else out of this? And the answer is yes. There is more action to come. There is trigger warnings that you need to look at. I need to say this though. Rin irritated me quite a bit in this book. In the first book, she was very ambitious. She was likable. You know, you felt proud of her. In this book, she cried a lot. She complained a lot. And she showed us kind of like a weaker side of her. But at the same time, even though I did not like her as a character, I understood her place in the book. I understood why she was the way that she was, even though I would have liked her obviously to react and act the way that I wanted her to, but that's not how the story went. I'm not mad at it. She was just not my favorite character of the book. I do have to say though, Kitaya was probably my favorite character in this specific book, and I can't even say anything about the psych, right? I can't. Because if you have not read The Poppy War, then you probably don't know who the psych are. And I cannot explain who the psych are. But be prepared to be happy reading this book. Be prepared to be intrigued. Be prepared to feel proud. Be prepared to be sad. Be prepared to be angry, because I felt all of those things and it was such a great time. Definitely a must read. Pick this up if you can, if you're interested in fantasy. Yes, there's a lot of trigger warnings. Yes, you should go look at them and see if you're going to be okay with it. But I feel like in terms of trigger warnings, this was a little bit better than the Poppy War. So yeah, try it out and see how you feel. And that's the end of my wrap up, you guys. I only read 3 books, but it was a good reading month. In terms of quality, it was really good. In terms of quantity, obviously not. I always try to get to 6 books a month, and it hasn't been happening in a while. And even in July, today is the 12th of July. I've already only finished 1 book, and I'm trying to make sure that I finish another book by tomorrow that I've started, because I did start a couple of books. I'm looking that way because that's where my current reads are sitting. But yeah, thank you so much for watching my video. Please remember to give it a thumbs up. It really helps my video get noticed and helps work on this YouTube algorithm. So I really appreciate it. Remember to subscribe to my channel. Remember to follow me on my Bookstagram account, which I have linked down below. I also have a 60-day free script link for you guys to use, which is linked down below as well. And I've got my wish lists in the description box if you feel the need to support my channel any further and spoil your girl on her birthday month, because tomorrow is my birthday. And yeah, looking forward to it. Thank you and bye.